Hello, welcome again. So far, we have worked out some examples. In first few examples, we learned how to determine the pressure of a given system. Then, in the subsequent examples, we also learned how to calculate or determine temperatures and calculate temperatures, how to calibrate thermometers, such examples. Now let us learn a few examples how to calculate work done by thermodynamic systems or work done on thermodynamic systems. So in this particular session, let us work out some examples to calculate the work done. So let me start with this example. Gas from a bottle of compressed helium is used to inflate an inelastic flexible balloon. This is the bottle. Then I have a balloon. Once I open this valve, this helium gas will get into this balloon. Then it will take this shape. Originally folded, completely flat to a volume of 0.5 meter cube. The barometer reads 760 millimeters of mercury. What is the amount of work done upon the atmosphere by the balloon? When the balloon expands, it will be doing work on the surroundings. Sketch the system before and after the process. This is before. You can consider this as the system. Once I open this, the gas will get in, then it will inflate. So, the displacement work or the PDV work done, integral of, for the balloon I am talking about, PDV, pressure and change in volume of this, plus bottle PD. Bottle volume is not changing. Also assume that the pressure is also not changing. Volume is not changing. So dV is 0. So this part will become 0. So this PdV, I'll just write it as P delta V. This pressure is atmospheric pressure. Initially its volume was 0. Now the volume has become 0.5 meter cube. So pressure 760 millimeters of mercury is also equal to 101,325 kilopascals. This value multiplied by this value will give you the work done. So work done upon the atmosphere by the balloon. Work is done by the system on its surroundings. So that's why you got a positive value. The other way, it is minus value. This is positive because work is done by the system. Work done by the atmosphere is minus, that is surroundings on the system, minus 50.66 kilojoules. Since the wall of the bottle is this, there is no PDV work involved in it. Okay, you can read out. I have already explained this example. Let us take the next example. A piston and cylinder machine containing a fluid system has a stirring device in the cylinder. Look here, this is the system, stirrer. When I allow this weight to fall down, then this will rotate and the stirring happens. So now the thing is, as it moves down, work is done on the system. The piston is frictionless and it is held down against the fluid due to the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is acting here, so it is in equilibrium position. The stirring device is turned 10,000 revolutions with an average torque against the fluid of 1.275 meter Newton. Meanwhile, the piston of 0.6 meter diameter moves out to 0.8 meter. Find the net work transfer for the system. Work is done here. After that, now if you consider piston cylinder arrangement, the piston will move from here to here, and here again the system will be doing the work on the surroundings. Here the surroundings are doing work on the system. Here there is going to be a negative work, here there is going to be a positive work. So let us look at this. Work done by the stirring device upon the system, done on the system. So already I have explained, stirring work is given by 2 pi Tn. 2 pi, torque is given, N is given, so you get 80 kilojoules. This is a negative work for the system, correct? It is done on the system, it is negative, I said. Now work done by this, that is PdV work, PdV. So pressure is 101.325 kilopascal. Area of cross section of the piston is pi by 4 d square, and the distance traveled. Okay, so 0.6, now the piston of 0.6 meter diameter moves out 0.8 meter, that is 0.8. So if you calculate, you will get 22.9 kilojoules. The output is 22.9 kilojoules, input is minus 80 kilojoules. Substitute here, you will get the network. Network, that is network done by the surroundings on the system. A similar problem here. Figure shows a system comprising of gas in cylinder at pressure of 689 kilopascal. Fluid expands from a volume of 0.04 meter cube to 0.045 meter cube, while pressure remains constant. Paddle wheel in the system does a work of 4.88 kilojoule on the system. Determine work done by the system on the piston and the net amount of work done on or by the system. Look here. If the pressure on face of the piston is uniform, then the work done on piston can be obtained here. That is, system doing work on the surroundings. Integral PdV, since P is constant, you can take out of the integral sign. You can write P, then 1 to 2 dV. dV is nothing but integral of dV is nothing but V2 minus V1. So here you have 0.045 minus 0.04. Here it is 689 kilopascal. To convert into pascals, I have written 689 into 10 to the power of 3. So that you will get Newton meter, or what you can call it as joule. Or if I divide by 1000, then I will get kilojoule. This is the work done by the system on its surroundings. Now let us see what is the work done, stirring work done. So that is already given 4.88 kilojoules. That is surroundings doing the work on the system. That's why it is minus. So you are going to get network minus 1435 joules or 1.435 kilojoules. Let us look at another example. because we also studied heat interaction. To explain that concept, I have taken up this example. It is required to melt 5 tons per hour of iron from a charge at 15 degrees Celsius to molten metal at 1650 degrees Celsius. The melting point is 1535 degrees Celsius and the latent heat is 270 kilojoule per kg. The specific heat in solid state is 0.502 and in liquid state 0.5344 kilojoule per kg. If an electric furnace has 70% efficiency, find the kilowatt rating needed. If the density in molten state is 6900 kg per meter cube and the bath volume is 3 times the hourly melting rate, find the dimensions of the cylinder furnace if the length to diameter ratio is 2. See, let us look at the problem this way. This is temperature, this is heat input. Initially, let us say it is at 15 degrees Celsius. So then we raise it to a temperature of 1535 degrees Celsius. This is 1535. Okay, this is 15 degrees Celsius. I raise the temperature from 15 degrees Celsius to 1535 degrees Celsius. Then this is latent heat. Then again I'll further heat. So 15 degrees Celsius to 1535 degrees here. That is heat required to raise the temperature from 1530. What is that? The heat required to raise the temperature from 15 degrees Celsius to 1535 degrees Celsius. Here, this linear, this is sensible heat. Mass into specific heat into temperature difference. So mass, if I consider it as 1 kg, specific heat Cp I consider as 0.502. Temperature is raised from 15 degrees Celsius to 1535. So heat that is supplied to melt it. 0.50 M is 1 kg, Cp into delta T, temperature rise. Then latent heat means temperature will be constant. The latent heat supplied is 270. Then again we are further heated in a linear fashion, like this is what you call as superheat. Again mCp delta T. So M is 1 kg, Cp is 0.5344 and you are heating from 1535 degrees Celsius to, what is that, 1650 degrees Celsius. So now this is sensible heat, latent heat, again the superheat. I have substituted all these things and I have found to bring the iron from this state to this state, the heat required is 1094.5 kilojoule for kg of iron. Melting rate is 5 tons, I said. 5 into 10 to the power of 3 kg per hour. So rate of heat supplied required. So this is the heat required per kg. So 5 into 10 to the power of 3 is the total mass. This is per kg. Then I'll get 5 into 10 to the power of 3 into 1094.5 kilojoule per hour. This is the total amount of heat required to melt 5 ton of iron. The furnace has 70% efficiency. Means to say only 70% of the heat that I supply will be used. Other 30% is lost. That means I need to supply more heat. So this heat divided by furnace efficiency. So furnace efficiency is 0.7. It is kilojoule per hour is there. Hour is nothing but 3600 seconds. I'll substitute over here. Then joule per second will become watt, kilowatt. You will get. So 2.17 into 10 to the power of 3 kilowatt. This is the heat I have to supply. The problem says 5 into 10 to the power of, see, you know, density is by mass by volume. Volume is mass by density. So what it says, the volume required is 3 times. So 3 into 5 into 10 to the power of 3 and density is 6900 given. So volume needed is 2.18 meter cube. From this equation you can find out. Bring volume over here, mass by density here. Mass you know now, 3 into 5 into 10 to the power of 3, 6900. If you go back to the problem, he says that bath volume is 3 times the hourly melting rate. So that is why the 3 times I have given 3 times the hourly melting rate. So 3 times. So this is the volume. So this is 3 times I have multiplied. So you will get 2.18 meter cube. Volume you got. Volume of the furnace. It is a cylindrical furnace. Volume of a cylinder is given by pi by 4 d square L. And again he has given the relationship between d and L. So L is 2d. I have substituted. And from this I have got the diameter. So once you know the diameter, we can always find out what is the length. What is the length? So that's how you can design the furnace volume and furnace, that is size basically. Let us look at another example. A completely evacuated cylinder of 0.78 meter cube volume is filled by opening its valve to atmosphere and air rushing into it. Determine the work done by the air and by surroundings on system. You know atmospheric pressure is 101,325 kilopascal. Cylinder integral PdV plus air PdV, integral PdV. Here dV is 0. So that's why this is 0. P value is known. Volume change is known. That is 0.78 meter cube. So if you substitute is work done by air, you will get this much kilojoule. This is the work done. Now this example, you just see here, carbon dioxide passing through a heat exchanger. Carbon dioxide enters here. There is a pipe, this is a heat exchanger, as it is passes through this. This carbon dioxide is flowing at a rate of 50 kg per hour. It is to be, initially its temperature is 800 degrees Celsius, it has to be cooled to 50 degrees Celsius. Determine the rate of how much heat has to be removed. Assuming flow of gas to be steady, constant, pressure type, take Cp is this thing. Please, this is a steady flow energy equation. Is a consequence of first law. We will be dealing it later. The idea of discussing about this example at this point is I wanted to just tell you how to calculate Q. That is the whole issue. Anyway, this is what you call it as a steady flow energy equation. In subsequent sections, you will know. This is the heat supplied. This is what we call it as enthalpy. I have not told you what is enthalpy. This is kinetic energy. This is a potential energy at inlet point. The same thing, enthalpy, kinetic energy, potential energy, and the work done by the system at the exit point. Assuming that there is no kinetic energy, no potential energy at inlet, same way no kinetic energy, no potential energy at outlet, there is no shaft or there is no PDV work and W is not there. So Q will become simply H2 minus H1, that is change in enthalpy. Later I will prove change in this enthalpy is nothing but Cp delta T, mCp T2 minus T1, M is mass that is flowing through this, which is nothing but 50 kg per hour, and specific heat of that is given 1.08 kilojoule per kg. The temperature, it has to be cooled from 800 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. So those values I have substituted. Correct? Those values I have substituted. I have got mass, they have got specific heat, I have got temperature values and substitute. So you will get this is the amount of heat to be removed per hour. If I substitute 3600 over here, then you can divide 4500 by 3600, then you can get kilowatt. So it is just to cool this gas, we have to remove the heat. How much heat we can remove? So please bear with me. I'll be discussing this in the subsequent topic, and it is very easy to understand once you know the steady flow energy equation. So these exercises were done just to learn how to calculate work and heat interactions in a system when it interacts with its surroundings. So with this, some of the basic concepts we have understood. In the next video, we'll move over to first law of thermodynamics. Thank you very much.